I don't usually post stories online, especially not like this, but something strange is happening, and I need to get it off my chest. Maybe writing it down will help me make sense of it, or maybe someone else has seen her too. It all started 3 nights ago, scrolling through TikTok before bed. You know, mindlessly swiping through the usual mix of funny videos, dance challenges, and memes. But then, one clip stopped me cold. The name of it was Serbian Dancing Lady Pool. There was something wrong with what I saw. I thought it was going to be another dance film or something popular. It showed a shaky camera pointed at a public pool late at night. The lights around the pool flashed, leaving an eerie glow on the water. Farther away, on the other side of the pool, there was a woman. She was dancing, but not in any way that looked normal. She swayed awkwardly, her arms flapping in uncoordinated, jerky movements, as if her body didn't quite understand how to move. Her head lolled to one side, and her long, wet hair stuck to her face. She wasn't wearing clothing, but a worn dress, as though she had wandered into the pool area from another time. The dance wasn't smooth like a ballet, or even clumsy like someone just having fun. It was mechanical and unsettling, almost like a puppet being directed by unseen strings. The video was only about 30 seconds long. The person recording looked to be hiding behind a bush, their breath heavy. The last few seconds were a blur as the woman suddenly stopped moving. Her head snapped up, and she looked straight into the camera. The video cut off just as she stepped closer to the lens. I thought it was a joke, one of those scary internet trends like the Momo Challenge or Slender Man. But something about it stuck with me. The way she moved. I couldn't shake the feeling that it was wrong. Still, I put it off as a complex prank and went to sleep. The next day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I looked for the video again, but it had disappeared from my feed. Curious, I put Serbian Dancing Lady Pool into the search bar, hoping to find it again. I wasn't prepared for what came up. There were hundreds of movies, all with the same woman. In each clip, she was dancing in different locations. By the pool, near a lake, even on the street at night. Her moves were always the same, unpredictable and uncomfortable to watch. But the pool vids were the worst. The water behind her would move strangely, and in some clips you could see shadows beneath the surface, like something was moving below. I started going down the rabbit hole, watching video after video. Some were made weeks ago, others just hours before. The woman always looked the same, as if no time had passed. Worse, the comments under the vids were full of people saying they had seen her in real life. They shared stories about meeting her near abandoned pools or bodies of water, always late at night. A few even claimed she had followed them home, though their stories stopped suddenly, and none of them ever replied to follow-up questions. I wasn't impressed. This had to be a popular marketing scam or an urban tale blown out of proportion by social media. But then I saw a post that hit too close to home. Someone had filmed her near the public pool in my city. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her, the way her limbs jerked strangely, her head snapping toward the camera. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen to see a message from TikTok. New video recommended for you. My stomach dropped. I knew what it was before I even opened the app. It was another Serbian Dancing Lady Pool film. This time it wasn't fuzzy or shaky. It looked fresh, almost like it was recorded by someone with a good camera. The pool. I recognized it. It was the pool a few blocks from my apartment, the one I used to go to as a kid. She was there again, dancing. But this time, something was different. The camera zoomed in, slowly focused on her face. For the first time in any of the videos, her features were clear. Her eyes were wide, too wide, and her lips were moving, but no sound came through the camera. She mouthed something over and over again, her body still moving in that bizarre dance. I couldn't look away, despite the cold fear setting in my chest. And then suddenly her motion stopped. She stood still, her arms hanging loosely at her sides. Her mouth stopped moving, but her eyes stared straight into the camera, unblinking. My heart pounded as I understood that the video's angle wasn't from some random viewer. It was from the view of someone standing right where I was now, by my apartment window, looking down at the pool. I rushed to close the app, my hands shaking. How had I not noticed the link before? The vids had been inching closer and closer to my position like some twisted timer. And then she was here. The following day, I refused to check my phone. I kept telling myself it was a chance and that it was all just an online trend. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. I could feel it, that cold, burning fear that had settled into my bones since the night before. By evening, I couldn't take it anymore. I needed answers. I walked to the pool to show it was my mind. Maybe if I saw the place in daylight, it would remove the growing anxiety that had been eating at me. The sun was setting when I got there. The pool was closed for the season, but the gate was ajar as though someone had pushed it open. I paused for a moment before slipping inside. The place was strangely quiet, the air thick with humidity. The water in the pool was dark, mirroring the faint glow of the streetlights. I don't know what drove me to walk closer, but I did. As I approached the pool's edge, my footsteps echo. My heart was beating in my chest, and every instinct told me to turn around to run, but I couldn't. Something was drawing me in. And then I saw her. She stood on the pool's far side, as in the films. Her dress stuck to her wet body, and her hair hung limply over her face. But this time, she wasn't dancing. She stood absolutely still, her head tilted slightly as though listening to something I couldn't hear. I froze, unable to move or even breathe. For what felt like a lifetime, we stood there looking at each other across the pool. And then slowly she lifted one hand, pointing directly at me. I backed away, my breath coming in ragged gasps. She didn't move, but I could feel her eyes on me, following my every step. I turned and ran, my feet slipping on the wet pavement as I bolted out of the pool area and down the street. I didn't stop until I was back in my room, locking the door behind me. That was 2 days ago. Since then, I've barely slept. Every time I close my eyes, I see her, standing there, pointing, waiting. I haven't checked TikTok again. I'm too afraid of what I might see. But I can't shake the feeling that it's not over, that she's still out there watching, waiting for me to come back. And now, every night, I hear the faint sound of water dripping from somewhere nearby. It's getting stronger. But now, with the sound of dripping water growing louder each night, I have to wonder, what happens when she finally crosses the pool? Will I be ready? Will you?